It's another one of those episodes again. But salutations, boys and girls, and kiddos of all ages. Welcome to another episode of Posing Action Figures with Toy the Poser. I am your host, Toy the Poser. And as we move along with unboxing old action figures, or at least old from last year, the previous year, not only do I want to give everybody the warning that this is not your average unboxing review channel, just a simple showcasing and of all the toys and action figures I like to collect, which lately has been leading into a bit of a rant. And this video isn't going to be much different because the action figure behind me that I'm about to review has one of those long entangled origin stories. So behind the camera I go into giant mode and let's get the show on the road and unbox the guy. Whoop. Okay, and as you can see on our rotating base here, we have New Warriors Justice, all right, from Marvel Legends. And yeah, once again, as I said, this guy's gonna have a pretty in-depth history, but on the back of the box, as you can see here, that it will say New Warriors Justice, a mutant with telekinetic powers. Justice fights alongside his heroes as a leader of the New Warriors. And of course, if you didn't know, it is the... Alright, I guess another piece to the Void Battle figure wave. We did everybody except this guy. And yes, Vision, once again, as I said, is a character I already have. Didn't want to get, but eventually I had to get him since I had so many pieces already. So anyway, back of the box, I don't know, once again, just for people that like this sort of thing, I could care less. He was on a rotating base, so you already see what we have going on here, and take him out in a second. Bottom of the box, and yeah, that little thing, because I got them from Amazon, so I don't know if that hurts whatever reason people like seeing the bottom or the box, period. So yeah, so all right, let's magical poof and get them up out of here. Ah, man, this camera's totally jeez and crackers. All right, let me adjust the camera properly here. Okay. All right, and magical poof. And of course it comes with the action figure Justice, and he has two alternate opening hands because he has two fists, and of course the builder figure piece. All right, that's gonna go to the void. So away with that, whoop. And magical poof him out of this. Magical poof. Okay. As I said, two hands. All right. That open, left and a right, or right and a left, or whatever you want to call. All right. And Vince Astro here, which name is Justice. I get into the history of him and all that in a second. Let's man, when I found me a cloth cape, or had a figure with a cloth cap, now I'm spoiled. Now I hate these little plastic capes. Okay. All right. So yeah, I don't know what kind of cool pose to put him in. I'm trying to put him in a we cold posing. Once again, make sure it's smart, it's wise to heat up your figures when you take him out of the package. Although he's technically kind of moving all right, you know. But I don't. Oh man, let's. I don't know a good Vince Astro Justice pose to put him in. Let me. All right. Okay. Come on. He's a fly boy. Let me. Okay. How about that? All right. Let's put him on a rotating basin. See how you guys like that. All right. There we go. And my cold pose, I got him in. All right. Yeah. Vince Astro. Let me get you some good old fashioned history and some. Yeah. When you see the monitor out, that basically means I've been trying my best to prepare for guys. So, all right, let's get Vince. Tell y'all a little bit about Justice here, and why I keep calling him Vince Astro. But before we bring the monitor in, and let's just go ahead and let you know that Vance Astrovic, that's his name, was just your regular normal teen who was born in New York City, where he encountered his future alternate version of himself from another universe, galaxy, multiverse, whatever you guys calling it these days. But yes, there's another version of him, future version of him, which he met named Major Victory. Okay, I dig that kind of as a joke because Major Victory is really Vance Astro from Earth 619, I think. Yeah, basically. So this is where it becomes tricky, all right? Because I know you guys are saying, or at least the people that's been collecting Marvel Legends action figures for a while are probably saying, hold on, Toy. If that's the same person, then you must don't have him, or yeah, why do you have the newer version, or whatever. All right, cause the fact of the matter is that I do have that version of Vance Astro of Earth 619 or whatever Earth he's from. I do have him, and he's from Earth 691 to be exact. But yes, and like I said before, because I hate collecting action figures of characters I already have, you know, in my collection, trying to adjust the camera a little better. But he's technically different. All right. So, and I'll explain why here, because this version of Vance Astro, who later changed his name, legally changed his name, I guess, to Vance Astrovic. All right. So, and basically, I mean, he, like as I was saying, sharing the same similarities as Justice, the one we just saw. Okay. Here, let me try it this way. This is Vance Astrovic of Earth 616, the prime Marvel universe, as they say. But this is Vance Astro of Earth 691, who changed his name to Vance Astrovic because of, you know, I really don't know why. I haven't found out the reason why. But he is basically the future counterpart of him, Earth 616 Vance Astrovic, who is currently named Justice. But we got to start off with the history of this guy, the 691 version of Vance Astrovic, who I'm going to start calling Vance Astro at this point, because this is how it all starts, because Vance Astro was created in 1968, all right, in Marvel Superheroes Presents Guardians of the Galaxy number 18, when he basically looked like this started out. But moving on, because he did change costumes a couple of times, actually. But just like the other version of Earth 616, Vance Astro, or Astrovic, this Vance Astro was 16, and his mutant powers did not manifest till much later, which led him to join the U.S. Air Force. He was accepted into the astronaut program at a very young age and was chosen to be the first man to travel to the nearest star system. Doctors replaced his body and coated his internal organs with some kind of preservative fluid before he was placed in suspended animation, and his ship was launched into space on a mission that would last over 1,000 years. However, when his ship landed in the year 3006 AD, Major Astro, before he was Vince Astro, or this version, he was still human, whatever. He was shocked to be greeted by an Earthman who had beaten him to the planet Centurion 4. And I really couldn't find a picture of Centuri or whatever, Centuri 4, but as they listed as was the fourth planet from Alpha Centauri B, one of the 3 stars in the Trinity Alpha Centauri star system. So yeah, just reading off some history about it. But regardless of that fact, all right, as I was saying, Captain Astro here did meet another human person that colonized the planet, all right, and excuse me, all right, while hiking in the mountains on the planet, Astro came across Yondu. Yondu was a game hunter of the primitive Zayton tribe of humanoid beings who were native to Centurion 4. Centauri? I'm trying to pronounce this. Is it Centauri? Centauri 4? Centauri. Whatever. But, by the way, yes, they do. This is technically not the same Yondu from the movie The Guardians of the Galaxy, but kind of sort of is. Once again, it's one of those situations. However, they do make an action figure of him. I just don't want to go digging for it right now, you guys. So, yeah, so let's move on. But while Yondu was out performing his ritual of manhood, I guess that's something his people do during their youth or something. In the middle of his performance ritual of manhood, Yondu attacked Astro for interrupting the ritual, but the threat caused Astro's psychokinetic ability to manifest itself in his defense afterwards. And of course, yes, the two end up becoming companions and then later friends, and formed the Guardians of the Galaxy together. And I'm kind of paraphrasing and speedballing at this point to move on to our main purpose here. And of course, I think that Guardian of the Galaxy team consisted of 4 members only, which was Yondu, as we said previously, Charlie 27, who did not look like this at the time. I think he looked more like this. And I'm still not 100% sure if that's the right look for him, because on the first issue of the cover of the first appearance of him, he looked more like this. Yeah, because he was an astronaut guy in a suit. So, and the other last member was Martinex. Okay, just kidding. Yes, that version was in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie, but he looked like this in the comics. Okay, well, let me see if I can get you a more modern first appearance look. Okay, that's pretty much the best I can do, or the best pitch I can find of how he first appeared. All right. Oh, speaking of which, yeah, we've got all versions of the first appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy except him, Martinex, and him, Charlie 27. All right, and I would take any version of them. This one, or even this one. Well, maybe not this one so much, but anyway. Okay, so jumping forward in the future year of like 3016, this version of the Guardian of the Galaxy had a little duel with Michael Korvick. And yes, he's a lot more deadlier than he looks, because this version of Michael Korvick was a once human. Well, as you can see here, he's human, but he's a technician that turned cosmic being. And yes, with the help with a time-place Thor, who the Guardians of the Galaxy first met, they stopped Michael Korvick, or Korvick as we just want to call him, whatever you want to call him. And he ran away to the past to try to stop an alternate version of Vance Astro. Okay, now we get into the good stuff. Who in an alternate Earth, which was Earth 616, the Prime Marvel Universe, was just I think 16-year-old boy. And this is when he first encountered his future self, which is Vance over here, Vance Astro over here. And to stop Michael Korvick from killing him, the past version of him. All right, so yes, and now we get to how Vance Astrovic becomes Justice. Well, not just quite yet. Before he was Justice, yeah, let's say what happened to him. And which was Vance Astrovic was born in New York, and just like his future version of himself. And Vance's latent mutant telekinetic powers were activated when he encountered his future self, Major Victory. This guy. And I'm not 100% sure if that's exactly what he looked like at the time, but regardless, the timeline's mixing me up, especially with the costume changes. Anyway, but Major Astro, and yes, they're the same person. They're all the same people in this situation. Major Astro, who traveled back in time to protect his younger self, who is Justice over there. This guy, all right. So he went back in time to protect him from him. And like I said, he looks a lot more dangerous than that. There. And I don't know if that's what he looked like at the time. Once again, the timelines are messing me up, but that's Michael Korvick in his cyborg form. I mean, because he can also look like this. There. All right. So yeah, but regardless of the fact, all right, Michael Korvick, this guy, was trying to kill him. So these guys came along to traveled back in time to stop him. All right. Now that we caught up with that, all right, let's speedball up some more. And during that time when they saved him, Vance Astrovic here became, well, actually he ran away and joined the circus, all right, and was doing mind reading tricks with his telekinetic powers that he just found out that he had during the trauma of almost getting killed by Korvik. And later on, ran into a couple heroes like the Thing to fight people like the Taskmaster. And much later, he was discovered and joined the team, the New Warriors, which consists of team leader at the time, the person that found him, Night Thrasher, Speedball, Kid Nova, which is Richard Rider at the time, the Nova, Namoretta, Firestar, and Marvel Boy. Yes, before he was Justice, he was Marvel Boy. Okay, so by the way, we do have versions, well, not in these exact costumes, but versions of every character in action figure form. So I think I might do something about that. All right, now that we have that, see what we can do. See what kind of picture, team, whatever video I can make out of that. Anyway, so with that being said, and for anyone that's interested, because I'm no longer am, because I can never make how these things really scale out, there's a power grid that was provided for Justice, and I will read off some of his power settings, which is psychokinesis. He can generate and psychokinetic numbers of energy, and which means that he has telekinetic flight, a force field. Vance can create incredible resistance force fields. Concussive blast, which means that they didn't give us any type of power source to show, accessories to show off his concussive blast, something a little extra. All right. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I did this size up basically just to show a grading scale, all right, or a size scale, I should say, from the smallest, which has been a 1/18 scale, I should say, which is normally like your G.I. Joe action figure size, and that's like 3.75 inches to 4 inches. 4 inches is really the true standard of it, but this Tanjiro Komodo, whatever his name is, action figure from the movie Demon Slayer, it's a McFarlane toy. Yeah, that's representing the 1/18 scale, all right, which is basically the size of your first level G.I. Joes, like back in the 80s or something. But yeah, I don't know anybody that's, well, obviously people are still doing it because this is a fairly new action figure. Anyway, your average 1/12 scale is Stan the Man, my main man Stan from Hasbro, which is 6 inches, and your average, what is it, 1/10? Yeah, average 1/10 scale action figure is this Marvel, I'm sorry, Todd McFarlane Toys Batman. I can't remember which version of Batman it is or whatever, but the average size is 7 inches, and I picked him because I'm using it as a custom, as you can see, anybody that know what this is, and that's why he's gray and his face is painted. But that comes later on in life, I'll tell you. But yeah, he's an average 7 inches tall. That is the average size of a 1/10 scale action figure. So, which translate to 5 inches, 5 feet 9 and 5 feet 10 inches in real life. So anyway, so yeah, Justice here is in between that, which is a 1/12 scale figure with Hasbro, which he stands at approximately, no need for magical proofing. I think we are. So, okay, let me get, okay, he stands just right over 6, probably like 6 1/4. All right, just a little bit above that if you count the hair. Okay, but under right over 6 inches. All right, and so there you have it. All right, so, and now that that's over, we can go on and start on to the next. Hold on for a second. Hey, Justice, this is the part where you take off, man. And all right, okay, and till the next video, you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.